Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Sherry, and I wanted to do a video about this book. It's called The Nature of Personal Reality, and it was channeled by a woman named Jane Roberts, who actually started channeling in the 60s, and I think she died in 1984. But the reason I want to bring this book up is that it actually inspired like a lot of more modern, like sort of people in the New Age self-help world. For one, I know Jerry Hicks claimed to have been inspired by reading these books, and he says that his questions that came about when reading this material actually inspired the Abraham Hicks material. But there's so many more modern speakers were originally inspired by this, and this is one of the first books I came across in my sort of new age, new thought journey. I lived in a small town in upstate New York, and Jane Roberts happened to live like 45 minutes from where I did, so all of her books were in our local library. So I was fortunate enough in high school to have discovered them like right away, because then it was pretty much the only books in that section. So I was very lucky. Like my mind was blown because it was the first time I'd heard anything about, like, you know, your thoughts creating your reality, how your beliefs affected your body and the world around you. So I was instantly hooked, and pretty much I've been carrying this around for like at least 15 years, this copy particularly, because I just think of it as like sort of like a manual for like reality creation. So pretty much everyone I meet, like if they talk to me long enough, I bring up the Seth Material and suggest it. So I just figured I'd make a video on it because in my own life I found it so valuable. I love all of her books. I read them all, most of them like at least 2 or 3 times, but this one, The Nature of Personal Reality, is just my favorite because I think it just goes right into like the very basics. She even talks about like the physiology of thoughts becoming reality, like how like when we think a thought, there's something called like a CC unit, and how it like reacts to the environment and like, you know, creates matter and all that. Like I think it's like, you know, pretty scientific compared to like a lot of books in this sort of realm. So I like that about it. And she just really talks about how like our beliefs create our feelings and imagination, and therefore reality, and not the other way around, because so many people you know, they try to like change their realities to feel differently, or even getting really caught, I think, in that sort of you know, visualization trap where you're constantly trying to visualize something different but your beliefs don't match. I think can be kind of detrimental, like if you're not looking at like how you actually feel about yourself. So I like the Seth books because they go right into that, like, you know, like just really look at like, what do you feel about yourself? Like, do you think you're a good person? Do you think you're worthy? Because ultimately, like a lot of other like sort of tools, I think don't work as well if that isn't addressed. So, you know, that was really helpful for me because it really just like made me aware of just like certain thoughts that were going on beneath the surface, not even that deep, but that I've never even questioned or looked at, mainly because it wasn't really taught like that it was important. Like it still kind of isn't, which is strange to me. But when I first discovered those books, it was like really, really out there. So it was really good for me because it was like kind of that only perspective I had of being like, okay, like this is something that's important. Like if we don't like really look at like what we think about ourselves, the world, like aging, like, you know, everything, like, because so many things affect our experience that a lot of times like people don't even look at. So I think I was very fortunate enough to have discovered these books at like a really young age, because I was able to like even then start looking at like what I believed, and you know, it's just been like just something I do. And even though there's some beliefs that are just like really, really hard to change, I have definitely experienced a lot of success with like certain ones, and I've seen the results in my life. So yeah, I just like to share it. So just like I said, whoever I come across gets to hear about the Seth books. So I just figured I'd put like a little blurb on my channel. I'm assuming that people who subscribe to this channel are probably new age, new thought people. So you know, if that's something you're into, and you probably read like tons of new age books and, you know, self-help books which overlap, like Tony Robbins and all that stuff, and I think that these books I would totally recommend as sort of like a supplement to that. My second favorite is actually the Abraham Hicks books, because they, for me, a lot of times they seem to actually pick up where the Seth books left off. So for me, the two together are like my main sort of sources of like information when I go back to like the very basics of like, you know, thoughts and creating your reality. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys soon.